Kanchazu Island is an unoccupied island located in the center of the Amur River, in the Russian Far East. The island was part of the official border between the Japanese puppet state of Manchukuo and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. On June 19, 1937, two Soviet motorboats crossed the center line of the river, where the Red Army occupied Kanchazu Island with a small force of 20 soldiers. The next day, 17 Manchukuo police officers and soldiers were sent to investigate the incident. Soviet troops, now numbering around 40 men, were now entrenched on Kanchazu Island and building fortifications. The Manchurian patrol was driven back by the Soviet soldiers. On June 29, a planned operation by the Imperial Japanese Army's 1st Division headquarters was approved for a night attack on Kanchazu to push Soviet troops off the island. On the morning of June 30, 1937, Japanese soldiers from the 49th Regiment of the 1st Division led by Colonel Mihara Kane launched an attack against the Soviets. The attack began with the use of two horse-drawn 37mm artillery pieces. The Japanese proceeded to set up quickly improvised firing sites, and they loaded their guns with high explosive and armor-piercing shells. The shelling sank the lead gunboat, killed 7 crew members, and crippled the second, driving off the third. During the confrontation, the Soviets responded with minimal gunfire, and there were no Japanese casualties. The surviving crewmen of the first Soviet gunboat were left stranded and had to swim to the northern side of the bank, back into Soviet territory. Many casualties were inflicted when Japanese troops opened fire on the crewmen. 37 Soviet troops were killed. The island was then abandoned, but later reclaimed by Japanese troops. Shigemitsu Mamoru, the Japanese ambassador to the Soviet Union, met the Soviet Commissar of Foreign Affairs Maxim Litvinov on June 29 to discuss the events. The Soviets insisted the Amur Islands belonged to them from an agreement made in 1860. During the negotiations, the Soviets agreed to pull back their forces from the Amur River to de-escalate the situation. Apparently, the Soviets were more concerned with events in northern China and Europe to worry about the small island. Shortly, 7 Soviet gunboats appeared on the river in July that year, but the Japanese took no action, and there was no violence on either side. As part of the agreement, the Soviets were allowed to salvage the sunken gunboat, which they did between October 22 to 29, 1937.